Be a little bit of bounce. Remember that the game is starting at 9:30 local time, so maybe a little bit of movement early on for the quickies, but in general, on a good day, a good toss to win. We pick up play now. It's in the first over. It's Javagal Srinath bowling the fourth delivery of the day to Michael Slater, and there are no runs on the board.
And once again, good bounce for Srinath, so he'll be pleased as the opening bowler, but a no ball. So Australia is off the mark in the second test match, courtesy of a no ball.
Well, he's a big fella. The final delivery tried a little bit more. That's why the overstepping, trying to increase his pace. Fast bowlers tend to do that. First few deliveries, they're waiting to get their rhythm. Once they're confident of their landing, that there's not going to be much problem, then they start to increase the pace, and then there's always the danger of overstepping with the extra effort.
And in the air, and there's a big appeal, and he's been given out. So the first time that Michael Slater has hit the ball, he's gone forward, and he's got the inside edge onto the pad, and India in the first over, after losing the toss, Australia deciding to bat, have broken through with the fifth delivery of the first over.
And that's not what the team winning the toss and electing to bat wants. There it is, the bat edge, a simple catch to Rahul Dravid at forward short leg. Australia have lost their first wicket for one. Michael Slater is out for a duck.
Well, Greg Blewett comes to the crease in the first over. Australia is 1 for 1. And Mohammad Azharuddin now becomes very aggressive. 2 gullies for Greg Blewett. Only 2 men on the leg side now. A man at fine leg and a man at back pad. 1 man in front of the wicket on the offside is Sidhu there, left of screen. So 3 slips and 2 gullies for the final delivery of Srinath's first over. The first over of the second test. Blewett on strike. And got in! Across the line, the Yorker. And Greg Blewett, the gap at mid-wicket was too tempting, too inviting. And Greg Blewett has played across the line. A Yorker would be a description, but maybe a full toss. And Greg Blewett is the second Australian out in the first over of the test match.
Nobody likes the first ball dismissal. You can see this is a very poor shot. Playing right across the line to a good length ball. Greg Blewett also out for a duck, and Australia have lost their second wicket with only 1 on the board.
So Mark Waugh, batting at number 4, comes to the crease after 2 wickets in the first over.
Big responsibility on Mark Waugh's shoulders. He batted very well in the first innings at Chennai. Also a man used to situations like this. Greg Blewett, that's a pretty ordinary shot, playing right across the line. You try and play straight when you go into bat, not play shots wide off the stumps. He's trying to play it wide. And I think over here you've got to compliment Mohammad Azharuddin for setting the field he did. He kept that mid-on open, tempting Greg Blewett to try and hit the ball there. It was only a forward short leg and deep fine leg. Well done, Mohammad Azharuddin.
Taylor to face his first ball. And Ganguly, the opening bowler, Havinder Singh being left out. And half's out, but it was a no ball. So Mark Taylor may well have got a little feather edge. Ganguly was late appealing, but I think maybe the no ball stopped him.
Yes, he's going over the line. And look at the way the ball has taken off. Mark Taylor in all kinds of trouble. No position at all, neither forward nor back. And he may have just got a nick.
If Srinath continues in this mood, they'll be piling in this afternoon. Mark Waugh on a hat-trick. And immediately his class shines. And a lovely shot to the boundary. Clipped away on the leg stump. And when we show the replay of this shot, Sonny, compared to what Greg Blewett tried to do, 1 ball was on leg stump, 1 was on middle and leg.
This is probably the wrong place to bowl to Mark Waugh. He is very, very good on the onside, and anything on his pad. You can see over here the ball pitched on the leg stump. That's inviting trouble. Not the kind of delivery you want to bowl when you're on a hat-trick.
And a big shout the off-cutter again, and a big shout, an appealing shout from Srinath. And there's been plenty of bounce in the pitch and plenty of movement. It would have been a tough one for the umpire to give.
Yes, I think perhaps the fact that Mark Waugh was playing just a little bit across the line should have carried on and gone down the leg side. Yes, it would have gone down the leg side. It started off as an appeal from Srinath, ended up as a plea.
4 overs complete. Srinath to bowl his 3rd over. Mark Waugh got off the mark with a boundary. First ball, he was on a hat-trick. And tucks it away for a single. So Mark Waugh will look for 2. In fact, he gets 2. So very good running by the Australians. Mark Taylor is, in fact, yet to face Srinath this morning. And Mark Waugh glides it through the area between gully and third strip, and that'll be his 2nd boundary. So the 2nd boundary to Mark Waugh, the 2nd boundary of the morning. And Mark Waugh goes into double figures.
Well, this is a fast outfield, very nicely cropped. And once it goes through the gap, it's invariably going to be a boundary.
Mark Taylor yet to score. He sat at the end and watched the carnage of the first over. And now he faces Sourav Ganguly again. And lucky for Taylor, he went to play it, went to let it go. The inside edge went past the stumps, and the Australian captain is off the mark. And a big appeal, the back leg, and he's given him. So Mark Waugh paying the ultimate penalty, looking to force the ball on the leg side. His favourite shot, the ball classical Srinath, nipping back into the back pad, and umpire B.C. Curry very quickly raised the finger. 3rd wicket to fall for Australia.
Well, this time I think Mark Waugh chose the wrong ball to play that shot. Yes, he's right in front of the stumps, not much movement forward either to cause any doubts in the umpire's minds. Australia have lost their 3rd wicket for 15, and an important one too, that of Mark Waugh.
On a current affair, Mike.
15 for 3 Australia. Srinath has all 3 wickets. Slater, Blewett and Mark Waugh looking to push the ball wide of mid-wicket. A favourite shot of Mark Waugh, a favourite delivery of Srinath. The back leg being hit, and Srinath goes up, and umpire B.C. Curry goes with him. So 3 wickets have fallen in the first 35 minutes of play on this first morning of the 2nd Test match. The Eden Gardens crowd getting right behind the other goal, Srinath, as he bowls to Steve Waugh. And Waugh lets it go, and he could have dragged the ball from his glove onto the stumps. So the end of an over for Srinath, a wicket taking over, and Steve Waugh, as he does, takes his eyes off the ball occasionally, hits his glove, his arm.
That's a good shot from Steve Waugh. He dispatches anything that's slightly loose.
Well, he didn't muck around with this one. He's got straight across. Nobody straight. He just hammered that past the bowler. No chance of cutting that off. And there's the tale of woe for Australia at the moment. Michael Slater out for a duck. Greg Blewett out for a duck.
That'll go away for 4. No 3rd man. A bit streaky, but they all count as far as the batsman's concerned. As the batsman will always tell you, there's not enough room in the scorecard to write down how you made them. Only just enough room for the number.
Ganguly to continue.
Edge, and Taylor is gone. Ganguly has got the breakthrough after beating Taylor many times outside off stump.
Well, there's the celebrations. This is how it happened. Mark Taylor fishing outside off stump. This time he does nick it. Easy catch to the keeper. Looks behind. Very disappointed. And again, another wicket down for Australia. 4th wicket to fall. 29 runs on the board. Taylor's on his way for 3. 21 deliveries, and probably half of them he played a missed at. Finally, he did get the edge. And the score, 29 for 4.
Well, Ricky Ponting wouldn't have been expecting to come in before lunch. Here he is, in before drinks. The captain is gone. Ganguly has done his job. He's bowled very sensibly to Taylor and been rewarded with a nick. And he's overjoyed about it. Steve Waugh always strong off the back foot.
Yes, Renouf just bowling a little bit too short here for Steve Waugh. Back on the back foot, punches it forward of point.
Ponting off the mark with a very good shot.
Now, this is a very, very interesting move from Mohammad Azharuddin. Back inside the Eden Gardens rather than outside. He's given the ball to Sachin Tendulkar now. Should be looking for a couple here. Harvinder Singh, the substitute for Javagal Srinath, has gone on the field. He's got a very good throwing arm. Must be a disappointed young man this morning. He's showing a fair amount of spirit in the field. I enjoyed that. That was a superb shot. He had time to get into position, but that was traveling on this outfield like lightning.
Very bad delivery from Tendulkar.
And Mohammad Azharuddin has just succeeded in taking the ball away from Javagal Srinath's hands and giving it to Anil Kumble. We get 4 more. This is very, very good cricket.
Well, he's had 2 attempts where he's played over the ball. This time he just waits a little bit more, does Steve Waugh. And he knows the outfield is quick. He knows that Kumble is quite a fast leg spinner. So he only has to time the ball.
I'm just wondering if there's an inside edge there. Certainly from Kumble's and Monge's reaction, did look like there was an inside edge. Monge's had a great match at Chennai, but let's take a look at this.
First chance goes down this morning. Ponting going late, inside edge quite clearly into the gloves of Monge. Not an easy one for the wicketkeeper.
He's cut very well so far in this innings. Absolutely hammering that one.
It's very strong off the back foot. This is short. And Steve Waugh has ample time to pick the spot.
The Australians will go to lunch at 67 for 4. Vast improvement on 29 for 4 as it was at one point. India will be delighted with the first session in which their opening...
Srinath was going the first ball.
And that's classical Ponting. He played one off the gentle medium pace of Sachin Tendulkar just prior to lunch. Same shot, same result.
Yes, one thing he does love is a short ball. He's a good hooker. And he's right on this one early. Hits it through mid-wicket. Not behind square, it's in front of mid-wicket. That's how easily he saw that. And it wasn't really short as far as the bouncer was concerned. But it's not the place you want to be bowling to him, that's for sure.
And Venkatapati Raju will come on from the high court end. Nice gentle sweep by Ponting. Clever little shot because he's kept it fine for the 2 runs.
Yes, pretty well played here by Ponting. Knew the man was fairly square. He just tucked it around fine. Pretty quick outfield here. It's fairly lush, but very fast.
And lovely shot. Flicked away again. There's another boundary. This time to Ponting, who slides across the off stump and flicks it off his legs.
Yes, Renouf not too happy with that result. Pretty bad delivery here from him. Down leg side. Ricky Ponting just helps that on its way. Fine legs. A little bit square. Couldn't cut it off. He's hit it pretty well, but it's a very quick outfield, like I said.
And And that's Ponting at his very best. On the stumps and sliced across the line towards mid-wicket. And the crowd favourite allows 3 runs. And 8 runs from the Srinath over, 84 for 4. Gets dark very early here in the north east of India. Stepping away again. So a boundary, a 3 and a 2 consecutive deliveries to Ricky Ponting, just starting to find his feet. And lovely shot. Classical Steve Waugh up on his toes, in the air for a little way, but once it gets past the infielders, it's always going to go to the fence. The outfield lightning.
Yes, it's just too short here, too much width. Steve Waugh back and smashing that one back with a point. No third man, so he's just got to get it through the gap, and it's on its way. But that one he's absolutely hammered. As you can see there, the trouble, he's bowled it wide and short, and that is just money for Jam to good batsmen, especially Steve Waugh, back foot player. He just hasn't quite got it right to Waugh at all today. Srinath, he bowled well to everybody else, but Steve Waugh has just got his measure.
And that's perfect. And a big appeal, no ball. It wasn't a genuine appeal. Now, whether it wasn't a genuine appeal because they knew it was no ball, or they just excited and went past the edge.
Well, it doesn't really matter, but just as I opened my mouth about having his measure, that's what happens. But I don't think he hit it anyway, but we'll just see. There he goes. Good couple of inches over that front line. But that's the ideal delivery. You'll notice, like I said before, Steve Waugh's a back foot player. That one's coming forward. That's the uncertain zone for him. And that's all Srinath has to do.
And in the air, once again, that's the length that Jeff Thompson's talking about. He plays at the line and not the length that, on many occasions, Steve Waugh. Into the over, 95 for 4.
Well, Steve Waugh just having a chat with Ricky Ponting there. The last ball of that over, a bit flashy. You'll see here, just comes forward. He doesn't really have control of that ball, but lucky for him, it goes through the gap. Another 4, the result.
If you do bat for a couple of hours and play aggressive cricket like Steve Waugh and Ricky Ponting are, you expect the run rate to be pretty good, and that's another boundary. Just showing you how quick this outfit is. Steve Waugh just getting to it, not really following through or belting it past mid-off, just in fact steering it between the bowler and mid-off. So the end of the over, after this half-running shot. So that brings up Australia's 100. And it's been a tough call for them.
Sourav Ganguly bowled a wonderful first spell. 7 overs, 1 for 6. Almost like that. Got the outside edge and just short of Mohammad Azharuddin. Now, how close is that?
It fell short. Not the slightest doubt in my mind that it fell short. Steve was just pushing at a delivery which he could have well left alone. Yes, falling well short of Mohammad Azharuddin. He's got one of the safest pairs of hands in the business. Oh, well shot.
Sometimes wonder what percentage of his runs Waugh's got in that area. And what a shot to bring up Steve Waugh's 50. It's fairly appropriate that his most productive shot should bring up that score. What a shot. That is a superb cricket shot. He's picked the gap beautifully. It's almost surgically. Neither field had a chance of getting anywhere near.
Yes, and the beauty is that it didn't look as if it had been really hit very hard. This is very good timing here from Steve Waugh.
Oh, we saw Steve Waugh off the back foot. Now Ricky Ponting off the front foot. He couldn't ask for 2 better looking shots.
Half century to Ricky Ponting with that lovely extra cover.
Bowlers under pressure in the second test again.
There wasn't much joy for Australia in the first session. But the first hour after lunch has been a good one for Australia. 14 overs bowled, 60 runs scored. But that is the bad news for Australia. Steve Waugh having a bit of work done on his groin injury. It's going to be Rajesh Chauhan now. That's beautifully hit. Man, is a deep backward square, nowhere near that.
Yes, pretty effortless shot there from Ricky Ponting. A few Australian flags at the bottom of his screen there. But he's hit that one absolutely square, and it went like a rocket as well. That takes the 100 partnership. Hits this one very square. Only a couple of metres away from the bat. Both fielders there. One at silly bit on, one at silly bit off.
Well, that's made him think about stretching out a little, having the fieldsman in close, and he's smashed that one. Now he's calling for something, it looks like it might be a painkiller. Two pills to kill the pain, I think.
Either that or he's waving for another couple of legs, but he's absolutely hammered that. That's not what you want as a bat patter. Go up there and the bowler bowls a half volley.
Ganguly at deep backward square, and he's misfielded. That won't please the crowd or the bowler.
No, fairly ordinary piece of fielding there from Ganguly, the local hero. Ricky Ponting down the track, sweeping this one. He's hit it absolutely hard. Ball just bobbling before it got to the batsman. He took his eye off at the last minute, paid the price. It's hit his thumb, went on for 4. Very embarrassing on your home ground.
Oh, and he's gone right through him. Ponting won't be able to believe that. His favourite shot, the pull shot. And Kumble has whipped the top spinner right through him.
Yes, Ricky Ponting, the man to fall, trying to pull the top spinner from Kumble. This is the result. Shortish delivery, but just spinning through, takes the top of off stump. Ricky Ponting on his way for 60, a very good 60 for Australia. The 5th wicket to fall for 141.
Well, the tough competitor Ian Healy comes out to the crease after having played so well in Chennai. He replaces Ricky Ponting, and I'm not really sure how Ponting missed it. Wasn't really beaten by pace, but the bowler will take it. He doesn't have any trouble playing those.
And there's the last ball of Chauhan's over. Steve Waugh hammering that one through point, getting up a boundary. He's been a bit quiet lately with his injury, but I'm sure he'd like a few more deliveries there from Chauhan. You can see him wince there, bit of pain in the groin.
Shouts of catch it. I don't think it quite carried.
Well, a hot chance off the last delivery. Kumble's over, Latchman in close. Healy off the bat, off the hip. It just may have carried. Very hot chance. Nonetheless, it's gone down. So Australia having a stroke of luck. Disappointment on the bowler's face. So tough times again here for Australia. Tough first hour. Second hour going to Australia. The third hour going to Australia. But then the drinks break taken. The wicket falling.
Oh, that's a lovely shot. Oh, this is really very, very hard to fathom, to understand why Venkatapati Raju isn't bowling.
Yeah, Chauhan doesn't look like he's worried him too much.
Srinath, the most successful bowler for India. Claiming a catch. Ian Healy looks at the umpire to see if it was out or not. That was a brilliant catch because he seemed to just play that very firmly straight off the face of the bat into the hands of Latchman at short leg. No, in fact, he's got an inside edge onto the pad. That's very well taken. All the same, Healy, you see there, just checks with the umpire, and it's more bad news for Australia. 151 for 6. Shane Warne, who looked to be in pretty good form in Chennai, takes guard. In the commentary position now, David Hooks, and with him, Sunil Gavaskar.
Thank you, Ian. That's a good reflex catch there by VVS Lakshman. The ball going off the pad, bat and pad. Very good catch. Very important wicket that of Ian Healy. And that's a cracking shot to get off the mark by Shane Warne. Short, just a little bit of width.
Ian Chappell made the point that Shane will look pretty good in Chennai, and he's continued that form. Too short from Kumble. Good aggressive shot. Venkatapati Raju, who's looked very, very impressive. Nice loop, nice drift, and some good turn occasionally.
Well played. He packs a lot of punch in the back foot shots, Steve Waugh.
Well, Ravinder Singh there making an absolute botch up. What should have been a regulation stop for 2. They know that Steve Waugh's not rushing too hard for 3, just jogging through for the 2. And World Cup qualifiers have finished. World Cup France in June, July this year.
Beautiful shot. This is a terrific shot.
Full toss, but it's more the aggression and the positive nature that Shane Warne displays here. Over pitching Kumble, Waugh gets to it and says, well, that's a full toss. I'm going to hit it with the full face of the bat, place it, and follow through. Steve Waugh has called for the runner, and Greg Blewett has come out to help him out.
26 short of what would be a tremendous 100. Steve Waugh hasn't scored a century in India, but that's because he hasn't played too much of Test cricket. And that is a simple catch to Mohammad Azharuddin. Well bowled, Anil Kumble.
Well, I just spoke during the break that what Steve Waugh needs, Steve Waugh needed was for Shane Warne to guts it out, fight it out. But the genuine, nice, juicy, near half volley, Shane Warne just misjudging the length of the ball. And Azharuddin, well, after a couple of fumbles, takes the catch. So Shane Warne is dismissed for 11 of 17 balls, and Australia, prior to tea, loses its 7th wicket for 100.
He's a very good player off the back foot, Steve Waugh. Look at the punch he's got into that shot. Tendulkar will have to do well to cut it off. He cannot. So a boundary off the last ball before the tea interval to Steve Waugh. He ends up on 79. Australia 175 for 7. Steve Waugh 20 short of what could be a magnificent century. Very good effort that. Gavin Robertson hasn't opened his mark, though. He's been at the crease for 23 deliveries.
Ravinder Singh filling in for Ganguly.
Little width there, and there's a bit of confusion there. It's a run out. Steve Waugh is run out. Yes, called Gavin Robertson. Greg Blewett at the square leg umpire's end wasn't very sure. In the end, simple run out, and very, very frustrating for the batsman.
Yeah, Steve Waugh, indecision here, tried to crack it through the covers, hit it straight to the fieldsman. Gavin Robertson stops props, and in the end, run out by a long, long way. So the end of a very good innings from Steve Waugh. 80 runs, 229 minutes. Australia is 8 wickets down for 178.
Mike Kasparich coming in to replace Steve Waugh. Unfortunately run out in a misunderstanding.
Yeah, it's a bad piece of running there. You could see him prop, and that's what done all the damage. Bluffed the runner from the other end. Not a bad throw, plenty of time to get it in. No runner anywhere in sight. And run a long way out. Steve Waugh was the man out for 80.
Once again, the no ball, the extra effort, and very nicely timed by Michael Kasparich. Venkatapati Raju stopping it from going to a boundary, but the Australians have taken 3.
And that's better from Gavin Robertson. That'll go all the way across the practice pitches where the Australians practiced yesterday and the day before. And he's off the mark. 57 and a first ball duck last week in his first test. And over half an hour to get off the mark in this his third test innings. And Venkatapati Raju, who's bowled just for 10 overs today, none for 24, will come on. Nice shot, tipped away, and this will show you how fast this outfield is. Running towards the mid-wicket fence. And Tendulkar, very good outfielder. We spoke about that in Chennai quite often. And again, not letting his legion of fans down. And that's the area that Ian Chappell was talking about. He normally hits the ball over the infield to that area. This one was a sweep to mid-wicket, and Tendulkar, no chance to stop it. Very well swept shot. Nice and controlled. Didn't try and hit it too hard.
Yes, I think actually if Raju is going to try and invite the cross-bat shot from Kaspovic, he'd be better off to have a man at 45 behind square saving one and his man in the deep out at mid-wicket.
And a big shout from Kumble. No shot offered by Kaspovic. Long way down and outside the off stump.
Kumble looked very disappointed that the appeal was turned down. Oh, I think I can see why he was disappointed.
No man on the leg side short for Robertson. And he's cut it over the top. It may well have gone off Mongia's gloves over the head of Azharuddin at first slip. And Raju despairing at the other end of the pitch.
Yes, the fact that it looped a bit suggests that it did come off the keeper's glove. A little bit of bounce there, and you can see it just flicks the glove. Azharuddin, a very good first slip fieldsman. And it's the knock on by the keeper that's flipped it up over Azharuddin's head.
Finished up making 60. That's a nice shot by Kaspovic. Another couple of runs to the Australian tail. And the end of the Raju over with a drop chance. A tough one. 204 for 8.
3 wickets to Anil Kumble. One of the reasons Srinath's gone for 80 from 17, that he's actually bowled a lot more balls than 17 overs would suggest. He's had a lot of trouble with no balls. But still 3 for 80. He was the one who provided the early breakthrough. Ganguly 1 for 18. He'd be delighted, man. Actually, the spinners, Raju in particular, bowled pretty well. There he is, Venkatapati Raju.
Just turns this one at square leg, just get the single. Gavin Robertson on 16. He's been there an hour and a half. Well, he's got that one through. That'll be 4. That's more like it. When they first come in, they were playing more freely than what they are now. That's what you're trying to say, 18 overs, and hasn't been too many scoring shots as of late. This time he's down the pitch. It's right over it, hits it right through the gap there. Fielder no chance, hit that one pretty well. Tendulkar the man. He couldn't get there and cut it off. So moves Australia along to 214.
Like this.
Two shots of no. That's good enough for Robertson and Kaspovic. 214 for 8. Now VVS Lakshman turns his arm over, bowls a few off breaks. Now VVS Lakshman comes from the city of Hyderabad in the state of Andhra Pradesh, where they tend to have a lot of initials. VVS in his name stands for Vangipurapu Venkatasai Lakshman. Might just have a hurry, but Robertson was off the mark very, very quickly. We're able to go ahead and complete the run. Just watch Robertson on that replay. He was very quick between the wickets. He's got home well in time.
That went through the hands of the fielder at silly point.
Went very quickly. Kaspovic really pushing out quite firmly there. Well, rather difficult to expect him to catch those. Obviously, the bowler expects everything to be caught.
Sourav Ganguly being brought on to bowl from the clubhouse, and he bowled very well, very intelligently in the morning. Look at those figures. Only 18 runs off 10 overs.
And he's certainly not backward at coming forward. He just gestured to the umpire, "Yeah, give it to me, I'll take it. I want the new ball." You've just told me what Ganguly wants in Calcutta, Ganguly gets. The question is, who's going to use it at the other end? Srinath's off the field at the moment. I assume it'll be Tendulkar who will get the new ball.
Rajesh Chauhan will get to bowl with the second new ball. But given just a little bit of width, this is a quick outfield. Tendulkar is quick, but not quick enough to stop that ball from going over the boundary ropes. Rajesh Chauhan must be very disappointed. Hasn't bowled well at all today.
But once again, the length and his line has been very inconsistent, as it was at Chennai.
He's given it a whack. Kaspovic. A little bit of width, and he's whacked it away for a boundary.
And that's the 50 partnership between these two players, and brought up in style there by Michael Kaspovic.
It made no difference. This one is very, very nicely played by Kaspovic.
Oh, Michael Kaspovic is just saying to the bowler, I don't have to hit them in the air, you know. I can play the shot along the ground, just like this.
And he's out. Magnificent catch that by the Indian captain. He had to run a fair distance. The ball lobbed up in the air, all right. But these are very difficult to judge. Short delivery from Sourav Ganguly.
Yes, Kaspovic was caught by surprise there. He wasn't expecting the bouncer. That is a very good catch from Azharuddin. Kept his eye on the ball all the way. He really is a magnificent fielder. 98 catches for Azharuddin, and it's 232 for 9.
Paul Wilson, the 376th player to play for Australia. Umpire Parthasarathy has given a walking decision. Australia all out. Sourav Ganguly, the local boy, the Prince of Calcutta, has picked his third wicket.
Well, that'll send the patrons home happy. Australia losing their final wicket with the last ball. It goes to the local hero. Looked like it may have just been sliding down leg side. But Robertson is gone, and Australia have been bowled.
But he's
9 Wide World of Sport.
been in good touch this season, and he's off the mark here with that boundary.
Well, nice exhaling of breath for Laxman. The ball played pretty comfortably.
It's a little bit wide. He's a tall man, VVS Laxman, so able to guide it past gully for a boundary.
And there is a face that only a mother could love. And Sidhu off the mark. Got 2 60s in the first test in Chennai, so he started the series off particularly well. Run out in the first innings and then dismissed in the second. And he'll be pleased to be off the mark.
Yes, he will be. This is a well-taken run. Sidhu running like a hare, wants to get off the mark.
Lovely shot, straight to the boundary. Paul Wilson, as he does quite often, drifts into the pads, and on a good pitch against players who play well off their legs, that really is a dangerous way to bowl.
Well, you don't really bowl to the Indians on their pads, and particularly not to Hyderabad batsmen. VVS Lakshman's big hero is Mohammad Azharuddin. Mohammad Azharuddin is so good at the ball pitched on his pads.
Lovely shot. A better length, but the wrong line, and you need to have both right. And this outfield very fast again today as it was yesterday. So 2 boundaries in the same area for VVS Lakshman after bowling with Wilson.
Yes, once again, pitched on the pads. Didn't probably go in the direction where Lakshman intended. He wanted to play it a lot more straighter.
Good line for the bouncer. Straight over the top of VVS Lakshman. Good genuine bouncer, causing the batsman to stumble backwards.
Well, the batsman stumbled backwards. What about the bowler?
He stumbled forwards. Outside edge. And 4 runs, but a good delivery from Paul Wilson. Got it in the right area, got the batsman coming forward, and created a genuine edge past the gully. So 5 runs from the over, 23 for none. Sidhu on strike. He's on 3. VVS Lakshman has gone to 18. And Michael Kasprich will bowl from the high court end.
This time he tucks it around behind square. Batsman had to hurry. Bit of an appeal there. Umpire doesn't seem too interested.
Paul Wilson not quite as mobile as the man down the other end, Michael Kasprich, and Ian Healy having to pick that one up out of the dirt. In the air past Blewett, but out of his reach.
Greg Blewett's fielding at bat pad. His delivery was in the air, but hit pretty well. Blewett not much chance of cutting that one off.
It's going to be Greg Blewett coming into the attack. Bit of excitement there from behind the wicket. Umpire BC Kure says not out.
Big shout here from the Australians. Possibly just hitting him outside the line. We'll get a better view from this one. Ooh, going straight on. It looks like it would have hit off stump, so it's a pretty good shout from the Australians.
That'll be 4.
Well, the signs tell it there. 4 runs. Greg Blewett just straying on the legs of Sidhu. And this fine leg, very square. No chance of cutting that off. Ball racing away to the boundary.
Well timed.
Yeah, ball racing away over this quick outfield. Batsman just leaning on the delivery, using the pace of the bowler. Very quick outfield. Just using the pace of the delivery there, picking a gap. Backward of point, Michael Slater does his best. There's the ball racing across this wonderful outfield here at Eden Gardens. India now move along to 37 and no wicket.
Nicely timed. Lovely shot there from Lakshman, just making sure he got it past the field.
And Blewett's had a run of 2 overs already. And he's in his 3rd now. Oh, he's got a boundary from the outside edge some time back. He'll pick up a couple from the inside edge. Ian Healy, who's not had the best tour behind the stumps, started discovering balls going all around him. 50 comes up. 50 for no rush.
That is the pitch at the moment. Looks very good for those people in Australia in particular. Very much like an Adelaide Oval pitch. A bit of sparse grass and nice and hard. A few cracks that were on the surface yesterday, but nothing that's going to break up today or tomorrow, I wouldn't think.
Most favoured option. Sidhu's picked up a few runs behind third man. There is no third man, so the moment he can get the ball through the slip cordon, which is not very thickly populated, he's going to get 4.
Yes, he played that very well, Sidhu. Got there in position, and there was not a great amount of pace on the delivery, so he got there, and you see that he then pushed his hands at the ball and guided it through that area. And as we can hear the applause, Shane Warne will come on for Australia from the high court end.
That is a super shot. This tells you why this young man is an outstanding player on the onside.
We saw a backward drive from Steve Waugh yesterday, which brought the crowd to its feet. And this is the shot of the morning. Just a flick of the wrists, and it just raced down past mid-on. And Paul Wilson just watching that go to the boundary. Lovely shot. Most difficult shot to play.
Now at the clubhouse end, it's going to be the off-spinner, Gavin Robertson. Oh, lovely shot. Beautiful placement.
It's not that Navjot thinks that they only plays the lofted drives of the off-spinners. Is very good using his feet. This time he didn't have to because the ball was pitched up in the slot for the drive. But look at that footwork, the foot going to the pitch of the ball, and then, of course, finding the gap. Beautiful. Right to the pitch of the ball. Lovely follow-through of the bat.
Nicely tucked away there by Sidhu, showing that it's not all power and brute force with him.
You find today captains giving a lot of runs away by keeping that third man position vacant. The new ball, when it's moving a little bit away, the thick outside edges go between gully and fourth slip for boundaries. Nice shot that from VVS Lakshman. Once again pitched on the pads, and we've been saying over and over again, don't bowl to the Indians on their pads. They are very, very good players at anything pitched on their pads. Look at this, getting to the pitch of the ball very nicely, and then finding the gap beautifully.
Well, Shane Warne is a good enough bowler to adjust. He's discovered that Laxman is a very, very good onside player, even when the ball is spinning from the leg. Nicely struck, but McGill, well, he was there, but it's got through his hands. '86 without loss.
This is beautifully played once again. VVS Lakshman hitting it just wide off the bowler. A bad bounce there for substitute Stuart McGill.
Australia lost 4 wickets before lunch yesterday. India no wickets and 95 runs.
And he's gone after it. Sidhu is an aggressive player against spin bowling, and he really backs himself against the off spinner and the leg spinner. And on this occasion, he's flayed the ball through the offside.
Yeah, Sidhu quickly onto this one, picked up the length, right over the ball, picked the gap, and that ball just racing away to the boundary.
Paul Wilson will bowl from the high court end to Sidhu. Wilson spending a few minutes off the ground with a lower abdominal strain, but that seems to be okay. Well, that'll bring up Sidhu's 50. And this crowd will give him the generous applause that he deserves, as do the Australian players. So Navjot Sidhu, whose test career was on the line before the test in Chennai, has brought up his 3rd consecutive half-century against Australia, his 14th 50 in test cricket, and that partnership now goes to 104, which is a new record for India here in Calcutta, beating Roy and Mankad way back in 1951-52 against England. So he celebrates with a lovely shot of his pads, which will bring up 3 runs or maybe 4. It's the latter. So VVS Laxman just 2 shy of his half-century. Shane Warne, the bowler. In the air.
One. Gets it away. Backward a point. It's a hard chase for the fielder to just get there. 2 more runs.
And consecutive overs bring up the half-centuries for the opening bat.
Coming in. Much bigger crowd than yesterday, and there's still plenty outside the ground.
That's his line of attack, and it's gone over the top of mid-off. 2 bounces over the fence for 4. So Warne enticing the shot through the offside by Laxman. And Laxman equal to the task. There's a man at short cover, so he decided to go over his head.
There's Shane Warne flighting the ball. Laxman this time decided to go in the air. This ball lands right on the practice wickets. Bang, 1 bounce, 2 bounces over the fence.
And lovely shot. Shot of the day. You don't hit them any better than that against the turning ball. And just the balance and the poise of Laxman at point of contact was exquisite.
Well, it's amazing what happens in it when you get after the bowler. Shane Warne, not used to this treatment, had to change his line.
And no third man. Races across the practice pitches. And when it hits those practice pitches, it doesn't slow down. A lovely shot. You're in good form when you can actually force the ball through the gully area like that without playing a cut shot. And what a catch! No, not out. Well, the reaction of the fieldsman and the batsman was one of despair. And he took away the mid-wicket. And what an effort by the Australians. We talked about their fielding, Jeffrey, but great effort to end the over. But another boundary to Laxman, this time through the onside. So 9 runs from his over. So Sidhu on strike. Overshadowed by Laxman in the last 20 minutes or so. Sidhu got to his half-century just after lunch before Sidhu. Got it before Laxman. And there's another boundary. So Wilson 2 short, 2 wide. And this is a race to 100.
Well, you can't afford to bowl short without a third man, and especially wide as well. That ball very wide indeed. No third man.
And no need to run for that. Let one of the little ball boys throw it back to you. Classical cover drive. And just the sound when the ball hits the bat of Sidhu's bat is just a thud.
This ball races across the boundary there, just in front of point. He's hit this one. Straight over the ball. Crunch.
Shane Warne to resume in front of 60 or 70,000 people here at Eden Gardens. A change in the commentary position. Sunny Gavaskar and with him Harsha Bhogle.
Yes, and he's bowling to Navjot Sidhu. Was it another boundary? 3,000 runs in Test cricket. He's become the 12th Indian. This must be a big moment for him. A strange career in some ways. Made his debut in 1983 alongside Sunny Gavaskar has just come in. 47 matches only, but a very good average. He's got the shot he was looking for. Against the turn, but he got in the wood. That's a solid bat he's got.
He covered that well. It was tossed up very nicely by Shane Warne. Intelligent bowling here from the Australian leg spinner, but it was a little too full in length. Allowed Sidhu to use a little cross bat and hit it over mid-wicket.
As Mike Casperich picks up the ball from Paul Wilson. His pace belies the enormous build. Doesn't quite seem to come out of his shoulder as quickly as you'd imagine looking at him. But this man's a lot quicker. Not Lakshman, but the man is running into both. Kasparov. He is just so good. Off his pads, off his hips, anywhere down the leg side. VVS Lakshman's batting, well as Sidhu's batted, has been a revelation.
Yes, he's been a revelation. He's made a very good comeback to the Indian team, VVS Lakshman. This is at the cost of repetition, a shot like Mohammad Azharuddin plays.
No, I'm afraid that's not good fielding. He struggled in the field is Paul Wilson. And that'll actually touch the rope now. They've struggled all day. This is not the great Australian fielding side that you know. You just get the feeling with Paul Wilson. He's more like a 5,000-meter runner than a 100-meter runner.
Well, there he is. Now, this is not a dive. This is a collapse. This is agonizing too. He thinks he can reach the ball, and the ball's just beaten him.
Well, it's not a bad ground in recent times for opening partnerships. Last year, or rather late 96, Kirsten and Hudson put on 236 against India here. Michael Slater wouldn't quite agree with that, but that's what the record book's saying. Oh, got the edge. For a long time, an Australian bowler has seen a batsman do something wrong. And that was so agonizingly close to the only slip.
Well, this is what I meant by the Indians batting well and making Mark Taylor put defensive fields. If there had been a second slip, it would have been a catch. There wasn't a second slip, so it's gone wide off the first slip. But maybe second slip, which would have been standing a little bit closer to the bat, would have been able to snaffle that.
Oh, that was a lion-hearted shot. His cover driving is solid rather than... there's no great flourish to his cover drive. He just puts his foot down. No, he slams that ball through cover.
Well, he's a very nervous starter, but once the feet start moving, he looks very, very good, very solid. Look at the way he's played it on the up.
Huge appeal from Michael Kasparov. Does not draw any response from umpire Kure. This was the ball that Sidhu got. He's gone wide of the stumps, as Sunny was saying. The opinion of the umpire, maybe just drifting down leg side now. But we've got a little animation to tell you why that was not out. Ball on its way to the batsman. He's not going to let us see that animation in a hurry, because Navjot Sidhu has opened his shoulders and just played the most amazing shot you will see.
This is a shot he plays very well on the up. It isn't a half volley, but this is the shot that one-day cricket has brought to the fore in Test cricket as well.
Well, a sixth bowler about to be added to that list. Mark Waugh coming on at the clubhouse end. Well, that's beautifully played. Very quickly in a position. Quick footwork here from VVS Lakshman.
Well, he gives this one back very quick to pick up the length on that one, as you'd expect on 80-odd runs, smashing it through mid-wicket.
And they're urging Sidhu on to what they hope will be his 10th Test century. Well, that's got to be very close, and he's missed 100. Sidhu playing across the line against a straight one from Mark Waugh, and Sidhu is out for 97.
Well, there we are, the first wicket to fall for India. Unfortunately, Sidhu on 97. Well, the crowd expecting the 100 to come up, being cut short. This is how it happened. Mark Waugh this time gives him the dart. Cricket delivery, just spinning a little bit. Absolutely plumb. Sidhu on his way for 97. The score now 1-5.
Australia facing an uphill battle in the second test in
Rahul Dravid, who played so well in Chennai, have a different role here because India are well on top despite having just lost the wicket of Sidhu.
All sorts of colourful headgear out here worn by the locals. Shows you there's a bit of sting in that sun out there. Very bright sunshine, very few clouds around.
Well, it's a lovely shot from Laxman. He's been so strong off his pads today. Reminds me a lot of Azharuddin when the ball's anywhere near around middle and leg.
Yes, they still persist in throwing him on his leg side. And with 3 men on the onside, that's not a good ploy. The ball racing away, back with a square. Clips that one, times it to perfection.
Mark Walsh got the breakthrough for Australia, getting the wicket of Navjot Singh Sidhu. But this time, overflighting, giving Rahul Dravid just the opening that he was looking for.
Well, if you're going to ask when you drive to the ground in the morning, a delivery to get off the mark, you'll say a part-time off-spinner who bowls me a full toss outside off stump. And that's exactly what Mark Ward dished up to Rahul Dravid.
Getting just a little bit of width, Laxman. If they run fast, they can go for the third. Yes, they have. Nicely tucked away by Rahul Dravid. Should be a couple in there, maybe even a boundary.
Michael Kasparich saying to the umpire he doesn't know what happens, so the third umpire will come into play. Lovely tuck off the pads. Michael Kasparich diving close to the boundary line, and I think he saved the boundary.
Robertson being brought on from the High Court end. And now VVS Laxman has missed it by 6 runs. By 5 runs, beg your pardon.
Well, how often do we see that, and how often do we say that? After a big partnership, 2 men get dismissed quickly. Both men, sadly for the Indians, in the 90s. First of all, it was Sidhu on 97, Laxman on 95, and this is how. We said it was a good time to bring Gavin Robertson on, and the boundary he was looking for to take him to 99 only succeeded in going to the keeper Ian Healy. So he's been dismissed for 95, VVS Laxman. Very good innings, and India lose their second wicket with 207 on the board.
The man who played that innings at Chennai that took the game away from the Australians on the 4th evening. He's here because VVS Laxman trying to play a back foot putt. And the first ball, he smashed it as if he was having a net, as if he was continuing from Chennai.
Well, he did the same thing to Shane Warne in the first innings of the first test at Chennai. He hit the first ball for a boundary and only lasted a little while, but that was a classic shot. Not only did he play the shot correctly, but he placed it between the short cover and the extra cover, and you don't play them any better than that when you're 100, let alone when you're 0.
And now Rahul Dravid joins in the fun. Gavin Robertson, having got the wicket of Laxman in the previous over, also conceded a couple of boundaries, and that has made Mark Taylor bring on Paul Wilson. There is no third man, and Australia have given away quite a few runs in that area. India 222 for 2. Shane Warne coming in for what will be the last over before tea. And he's gone for that. Last over before tea or not. It's a 6. It is a 6 against the turn.
Well, I don't think Shane Warne will be displeased that a batsman has walked in, the over before tea, and slogged him over mid-wicket for 6. But I tell you what, he will be displeased about that.
Hasn't had any joy so far today.
Well, that third man position, Mark Taylor continues to keep it vacant in spite of the fact that India are only 2 down and 232 on the board. It's cost Australia quite a few runs.
Yes, too wide here, too short. Old Dravid just hammering that one. Gully got a hand on it. There's our tower view.
Tendulkar just a little bit deceived by that slower delivery from Kasparowicz, but still good enough to change his shot a little bit and played wide of the fielder at mid-wicket.
Well, Michael Kasparowicz throwing up the slower delivery this time, deceiving Tendulkar.
And Tendulkar once again, he likes to dominate. This is good stuff from Michael Kasparowicz.
Yeah, this has been a good over. The result won't tell the story. Big off-cutter there. Sachin on the back foot trying to push it forward and square, but just gets a thick inside edge. You see from this view here, just chops it down past the leg stump, away to the boundary for 4, and not really the true pitcher. He's bowled a pretty good over so far.
Yes, he has. Sachin Tendulkar just a little bit in a bit of a rush trying to get some runs because Shane Warne's bowling superbly at the other end. Perhaps thinking that there should be some easy pickings, but look at that shot. Sheer timing.
Well, that's rubbing salt into the wound. Another 4. Tendulkar racing along now. This one's fair and square. Hammers it back down the pitch. Kasparowicz not impressed.
Effortless. Absolutely effortless.
Well, Kasparowicz over pitching again, pays the price. You can't do this to Tendulkar. Aired in length and direction. Too full, too wide. And Tendulkar just saying thank you, hammering this ball on the up, 4 to point. That's what the batsman saw, and that's what the bowler got. Another 4 runs.
Yes, the slip has been removed, so Tendulkar can reach out for the wider deliveries. This time he's played it off the pads. It's going to be 4. Robertson not quick enough to stop it.
Well, if this keeps up at this rate for Sachin Tendulkar, Mohammad Azharuddin's century of 70 balls could be in threat, Sunil.
Bad ball from Shane Warne. And Dravid had 2 options. One to pull it through mid-wicket, the other to step back. He didn't turn very much, and that gave him plenty of time and plenty of room through the extra cover area.
Once again, it's that quick footwork. Dravid getting well back onto the stumps, up on his toes, forcing that ball beautifully through the offside. He is a very good back foot player.
And a mix-up in the running, so blew it to the bowler's end, and there's going to be a big appeal. The umpire's gone from the 3rd umpire. And the Australian players going to Shane Warne. And that's generally an indication the players are pretty keen. Good piece of fielding. There was a mix-up with Dravid and Tendulkar.
Yes, Dravid wasn't sure whether Tendulkar was coming or not. Dravid has made it home.
Gavin Robertson to resume. And he goes after him, does Tendulkar. He thought about it the ball before, and he wound up on the next delivery, and he hits his second six of the innings.
Well, that's a huge six. He's only a little man, but he hits him a long way. He's got a big bat, heavy bat, and a really long follow through.
And he's tempted him on that occasion, and Tendulkar's waited for the right ball. He's gone from 45 to 49 by waiting and making the bowler come to him.
Well, there's no wonder this crowd gets excited by Sachin Tendulkar. He is an excellent batsman to watch. A lot of boundaries.
And that's not the line. We saw VVS Laxman play a similar shot this morning, and that shot was equally as exquisite.
That is a shot that you've just got to be able to play in this country against good off spinners.
And he's decided to go as well. So Gavin Robertson's ploy of going around the wicket has resulted in 8 runs for the first 2 deliveries.
Well, Dravid, his eyes have just lit up at the thought of playing the off spinner from around the wicket.
And there it is. 19th half century for Sachin Tendulkar. Front 8 wickets in hand, and still 17 overs remaining. Warren to Dravid. Dravid on 46. Dravid on 50. So, consecutive overs, consecutive half centuries. Rahul Dravid brings up half century number 6. And no man at mid-wicket. So the attempted flipper, he's got his bag of tricks out there, Shane Warne, and these players are in such great form that just a fraction off where it's supposed to be, they hit it to the fence.
Gavin Robertson's discovering what life in the fast stone's about. That'll be 4 more. Grady Bolton. 48th boundary today.
Well, another great shot there from Tendulkar. Realising the man of fine leg is pretty square. He's just tucked it around tight. 4 runs all the way.
Now Warne's going round the wicket. So some sensational cricket. We so often talk of good footwork as being going down the track. But Rahul Dravid off the back foot, I think has been sensational today.
Yes, he's got around a wicket but too short. Dravid just rocks back, hammers it through the offside. It's just the 3 fielders on the off.
Mark Waugh picked up a wicket. In fact, he picked up the first, that of Navjot Sidhu. That is a thank you very much ball. Mark Waugh said, the spirit of hospitality. Tendulkar said, I'll take it. 329 for 2.
Shane Warne.
This one of the problems Mark Taylor's had is that the runs have come from just about everywhere on this cricket ground. Now you would imagine that a leg spinner would have 4 runs going from there.
Well, this time he sweeps Shane Warne fine. Gets this one really fine. Again, he knows exactly where the fieldsmen are. Kasparowicz pretty wide.
And Michael Kasparowicz, who just in his 12th Test match really is learning what Test cricket is all about.
What a shot. Jeff Thompson beside me has just put up his hand in appreciation. No ball as well. You can't take away from the sheer quality of that cover drive.
Well, absolutely effortless this shot. So you can see the smile on both batsmen's faces. Kasprowicz overstepping, the first error there. The next one over pitching. Tendulkar just patting that one, and look at it race to that boundary across the practical wickets, crash into the fence.
He scored. Greg Blewett, the man there at point. Tendulkar would be disappointed. He's out playing a shot, couldn't keep it down, and after the initial disbelief, the crowd now starts to rise. The new ball's done the trick. Tendulkar is gone for a blazing 79.
Well, the third wicket to fall for India. Tendulkar, the man on his way for 79. Bold Kasprowicz caught Greg Blewett. This is how it happened. Just slashed off the outside edge. And straight to Greg Blewett at a deep point. 12 fours, 2 sixes, 110 minutes. Sensational innings there from Sachin Tendulkar. It's come to an end. India 3 for 347.
Mohammad Azharuddin's lowest test score at Eden Gardens is 52. He's here because Kasprowicz has got Tendulkar.
Only if you practice the right way. Rahul Dravid puts a lot of effort in the nets, and it's paying off for him over here. This is his 6th consecutive score of over 50,
but he'll be hoping to convert this one into 100.
Nicely clipped off his pads. We've said that over and over again. Toned ball to the Indians on their pads. 357 for 3.
Well, I think you can say that about any batsman of international standard. Don't bowl on their pads. I don't recall playing against a player who was stronger through the offside than off his pads. Maybe Graham Pollock was one in his early days, but he became a pretty good player off his pads, mainly because people bowled there a lot.
Lovely shot. Delightful.
A classic example of the artistry of Azharuddin. Beautiful timing as he just pushed that one through the gap. He really is an artist when he's going.
Last ball of the day. Unless, of course, it's a no ball or a wide. It's been negotiated safely by Rahul Dravid, and it's been a tremendously entertaining day's play. 369 runs have come in the day's play in 90 overs. You couldn't have asked for a better scoring rate. Plenty of boundaries, a few sixes.
Each to Michael Kasprowicz, Gavin Robertson and Mark Waugh. Well, there's been no addition to the score, and we pick up play in the first over of the day. It's Shane Warne bowling, and the Indian captain Mohammad Azharuddin is on strike.
One of the reasons why I feel we've seen such good cricket, particularly from the Indians, is because we've got good cricket wickets. This wicket over here at the Eden Gardens is by far the best I've seen for a long, long time. Not just for batting, but it's a very good pitch to bowl on. And Azharuddin straight away off the mark. Third ball of the first over of the third day. Lovely straight drive.
The mid-on is wide, and that's because Azharuddin is so strong through the mid-wicket area. But I think you've got to make him hit across the ball, particularly early in his innings. I think you've got to put mid-on fairly straight, and maybe you have to put mid-wicket straighter as well. Michael Kasprowicz, who worked so hard yesterday, starting from the clubhouse end. Dravid sets things in motion this morning. And he's moved along to 78. Now one slip, and then there's a bit of a gap to Shane Warne. at about fourth slip and then a fine gully. Mark Waugh in that position. Good shout from Kastrovic.
Mohammad Azharuddin not quite certain where the ball was going to come in or whether it was going to go away from him.
He's asked the question again and very excited about that one. He can't believe it's been turned down. It's a dangerous ploy.
Azhar looks a little uncertain around that off stump, not quite reading Kastrovic. And this one has nipped back quite smartly. It's hit him on the knee roll.
Found the gap this time. Shane Warne's 100 comes up. They say you're not a batsman until you make a duck. Maybe you're not a bowler until you get none for 100.
It's given Azhar enough time. It's short. It's turned away just a little bit. And Azhar has found the gap to perfection. This is a slow pitch, so you've got to get the ball to the batsman further up.
He looks fit, he looks healthy, and he's trying to work it out.
That's another example of outstanding bowling. He's pitched it exactly where he wants to. He's got the batsman doing something that is not exactly optimal from a batsman's point of view.
Interesting footwork on that occasion by Dravid. He went away then towards the ball.
Marco Kastrovic has bowled beautifully today, as indeed has Shane Warne. So it's been sort of good morning for Australia in terms of quality of bowling. It's not yet reflected in the wickets column. But I think this man came very, very close to getting Azharuddin LBW. Look at the justice of it all. Azharuddin has just smashed him behind point for 4.
Michael Kastrovic has bowled beautifully this morning. No reward, and Azharuddin so strong off his pads and so strong in that particular shot. It's not a cut shot as we know it. It's up and about, and it's nearly a bat straight. In fact, it's probably 45 degrees on contact. It's not a flat bat shot that normally a cut shot is played with, or nor is it a back foot drive. It's a very, very difficult shot to play, and he plays it exquisitely.
Further misfortune. Went off pad, I think that did. No, it's been given as 4 runs. Now, Kastrovic just had a word.
Michael Kastrovic agrees with you, Harsha. He thought it was leg byes, and he's saying, hey, I don't mind the team having to cost themselves 4 runs, but get them off my column, will you? And we'll see if Michael Kastrovic has any cause for having a chat to the umpire. And it certainly looked like it came off the thigh of Mohammad Azharuddin. Greg Blewett.
That shot that he just saw was a Brian Lara shot. That's a Rahul Dravid shot.
Well, the little boy brought up his 50 with that shot, and Rahul Dravid brought up 86. So India brings up their 400 as well. And look at that. That is one of the classic poses, if you like. You stick one of those on your wall.
He'll be very, very disappointed with that, will Rahul Dravid, because he's once again got so close to a century, and people are going to start talking about it all over again. He's batted brilliantly to get to 86. Once again, a very, very strange dismissal.
Well, Greg Blewett does back himself. A dejected Rahul Dravid, but he played so well yesterday afternoon, so well this morning to help his side to, at this stage, 400. And Greg Blewett always backs himself. Very good short ball over the off stump, and an easy catch. So Dravid departs for 86, And the local hero, Sturm Ganguly, comes to the crease with India at 400 for 4.
There were 2 rows a short while back. One a little cheer for Rahul Dravid, and then a huge one for the arrival of Sourav Ganguly. But this is Dravid's dismissal.
Yes, just unbalanced in attempting to play the shot from outside the off stump. And Greg Blewett threw it higher than the light tower. He's had a pretty tough test match, Greg Blewett. Out first ball, run out while acting as a runner for Steve Waugh. And here it is, way above the light tower.
400 for 4, not a single century. Look at those scores, 95, 97, 86 and 79. Sometimes I wonder, Hooksy, maybe you'd fill us up on this. Here's the Royal Bengal Tigers in. Does scoring a century require a slightly different mindset? I really had to reach for that one. It was in the air. It probably go all the way. It does. But very, very similar to his dismissal in Bangalore, in Madras rather.
A little bit fortunate here, Azharuddin. It's only the placement that saved him from getting out. You see that, just leaning back on the ball a little bit. In the air for some 30 metres towards cover. And it even beat backward point. So in the air, looping towards cover. Always away from the fieldsman, Paul Reiffel. Greg Blewett doing a good job for Australia. There's been some criticism, surprisingly, by people around the team that he tries too much with his bowling.
Oh, that's a great shot. That's a shot that you want to travel to see. It doesn't quite fetch a boundary, but that was about as pretty as batting can ever get.
That is classical Azharuddin. And he runs very well between wickets. He knows when it gets down towards the practice pitches, it's going to start to scoot away even more, or certainly not slow up. So he ran his first one very hard. He goes there, then he realises it's going to be a chance for 3, so off he goes. So now just 16 shy of his previous lowest score.
It's very quick thinking by Greg Blewett. He actually bowled a very good ball.
Well, good aggression by the Australians this morning. Their fielding yesterday wasn't up to their normal standard. This morning they've come out with a positive attitude, an aggressive attitude, and that just keeps the batsman honest. Ganguly yet to get off the mark, and Greg Blewett making sure that, hey, just look out, because if you fall over like that and you're out of your crease, we're going to knock the stumps down. So good positive attitude by the Australians.
Well, that's sweetly timed.
Well, this shot here brings up the 60th boundary in the innings. Azharuddin just rocks back. Greg Blewett not quick enough to bowl that length. Just pushes it in front of point. You can see the quickness of the outfield. Chalks up the 60th boundary so far. Good shot.
Gavin Robertson now replacing Shane Warne. That's at the High Court end.
How was that?
Well, a bit of a half-hearted shout there from the Australians. It's not too bad a shout. Ball just drifting back in. No shot.
This time he's found the gap. And yet another 4. It's 420 for 4.
Well, a good shot there from Ganguly off the last ball of the over. He rocks back. This time he gets it through the gap. Long chase for the fielders, but a racing across that practice wicket area. So yet another boundary for the Indians. You just see him use his feet well back. Bang.
Ganguly plays that shot well. 6.
Ganguly's had enough of being tied down. The signs tell the story. A good 6. Hit straight back over the bowler. Fairly straight hit between him and mid-off. Advances down the track. Uses his feet well. Bang. It's right through the ball. Sailing. You just see it go past the side screen. Well covered there by our cameraman. Right back into that crowd.
Well, that's a lovely shot. Very quick footwork.
Well, that comes from a bit of bluff from the batsman. They're good batting. He made his intentions to Robinson earlier that he wanted to come down the track, so he just waited his turn, knew Robinson had dropped one in short, and sure enough, that's caused a change in the field again. See that ball dissected the fielders and racing away to the boundary. Now Mark Taylor's changed, put a man out and point right on the fence. Look on the bowler's face tells the story.
Shot for LBW. Once again turned down by BC Kure.
This has been really a terrific pitch over here at the Eden Gardens. Sometimes it's been on the slower side. The ball hasn't quite come onto the bat. But for 2 consecutive test matches, the one against South Africa and this one over here, the one who's made the pitch has got it absolutely right.
Half century to Azharuddin. He brings it up his 20th half century in Test match cricket with a classical on drive. It was a full toss, but he placed it to the boundary.
One more half century at the Eden to Mohammad Azharuddin, and the crowd responding to their hero.
So Kasparov resuming to the Indian captain. And you don't hit him any better than that. That is a stunning shot from Azharuddin. No sound when the ball hit the bat. Such was the timing and the willow that he has. Beautiful shot to square leg.
Yes, smooth as silk. Smooth as silk. As you said, there was absolutely no sound of the ball hitting the bat. Beautiful.
And dropped. What an effort. Shane Warne at cover has nearly pulled off a William Grant's classic catch. He saved the boundary. In fact, he may have saved 6.
This is hit with fierce power, a little bit wide, short of a length, and that is a great effort by Shane Warne. These kind of catches stick. You cannot judge them. You just have to go for them and hope that they stick. This one didn't.
Lovely shot. We've seen the players hit the balls off their pads from the ball 1 of this innings, and that is a beauty. Fordham 57 for 4.
This is a Rasagollah shot. This is a Rasagollah shot. Look at the sweetness in the timing and the power behind it.
And a big appeal from Robertson from around the wicket. The ball straightening up. The Australians went up in unison behind the stumps.
This one's ball flat out. Robertson has seen that Ganguly likes to go down the pitch to him.
So that's the end of the morning's play here. The 3rd morning of the 2nd Test match. India versus Australia.
The 2 Calcutta heroes, Mohammad Azharuddin and Sourav Ganguly, are in the middle. And in the commentary box, we've got Sunil Gavaskar and Jeff Thompson.
Oh, that one turned sharply. Azhar, one of those rare occasions when he's not been sure of which way the ball was going to turn and bounce.
Yes, a bit of extra spin here from Mark Waugh, and how this misses the leg stump, I don't know. Surprises Azhar, just chops it down. Look at that, just missed that leg stump. Have a view here from the bowler. That is oh so close. This time it's a no ball. Showing a little bit of frustration there, Mark Waugh. Just asking the umpire where his foot was. Still not too bad bowling 36 overs for 117 when you consider the score.
Can't stop that one. Very nicely played by Azharuddin. Timing again, not too much power.
Well, a beautiful shot there. Frustration for the bowler, Warne. Azharuddin using his feet, makes a full toss of it. Kasprowicz, the fielder at mid-off, a very good fielder, but he couldn't get across. Good dive. Beautiful shot there from Azharuddin. Just timing it to perfection. And yet another boundary for the Indians.
That's an invitation. The ball had "Hit Me" written all over it.
Well, joy for the Indians. Azharuddin, 2 boundaries in a row. First one, very good shot. The next one, bad ball from Shane Warne, wide and full toss. And he just hit it straight through the gap on the extra cover. Bang.
Warne thought there was something there. Umpire Parthasarathy, as his par for the course, thought there wasn't.
Shane Warne actually started his Test career against India and took a bit of a pounding, although he did get 1 wicket in that match. I think 1 for around about 150. So he has had this experience before with India.
Picked that up very quickly. And once he did that, given the slowness of the pitch, it was always going to be 4.
Signs that Shane Warne's just getting a little frustrated and perhaps a little weary as well. The concentration has gone. I think it's perhaps a good time to give him a little bit of a breather. Just wander off into the outfield, gather his thoughts again, and then bring him back a little later on.
We're getting some unusual stats in this game. The first time, only the second time ever that 2 wickets fall in the first over. Only the second time ever the 2 openers get out in the 90s. Well, that's pretty symbolic of what's been happening in the field, but he doesn't give away an extra because 2 are always on, and 500 comes up, so 100 of the partnership is up as well. And Robertson comes back. The Prince of Calcutta, as he's been called so often, and we've referred to him very often.
Well, there has been a drop catch, and we'll go to Harsha.
Yes, didn't quite
carry. So Gavin Robertson still trying to get that breakthrough that Australia so desperately needs.
Excellent shot. Brings up 50 for Sourav Ganguly. Makes it 6 in a row for India. And how symbolic that it should come up with a straight mark shot. That drive through the offside. He's now got 5 centuries and 5 50s. And that with a delighted Indian dressing room and an overjoyed audience at Eden Gardens.
Big crowd in Eden Gardens, over 80,000 yesterday. And I think that if Tendulkar had been in this morning, we may well have got the 95,000 or so. And Azharuddin goes to his favourite spot, over the boundary line and 6. He does like to look perhaps a little bit squarer, but he stands with his feet anchored to the crease and just smashes the ball over the onside.
Well, this is a bit of an unusual 6. If you look at this, it's off the back foot. No, he's just rocked back when he hit it. Hardly any foot movement at all there. Bang, into the signs. 6 more runs, another boundary. And a bit more salt in the wound for the Australians.
And he goes again and doesn't get away with it. He got a bit anxious and a bit excited, and those eyes, those Hyderabad eyes, just lit up.
Yeah, Robertson tossing this one up a little bit higher, a little bit slower. Did him in flight, actually, hit the bottom corner of the bat. He's looking towards that mid-wicket boundary.
Mohammad Azharuddin 5 shy of his 20th Test century. Can he bring it up with a 6? That's where it'll go. And will it go over the top? Will it go for 6? The umpire stands. He waits. 100. The genuine applause of Mark Waugh. 100 to the Indian captain. Brought up in the area of the telestrator.
Well, the crowd go berserk. Azharuddin, the first man to get 100 in this match. Unbelievable stats. And unbelievable stats for him on this ground. 101 off 181 balls. 12 fours, 2 sixes, and the 6 brought up his 100. And it's taken 1.5 days for the Indians, although they've scored 500 odd runs, to finally get a man to get the century.
And he's got a long chase for Kasparitz. I don't think he'll get there. The ball is racing across his field, as distinct from Kasparitz. 10 runs off 2 balls. So Greg Blewett back into the attack from the clubhouse end. And another boundary. A great cut shot past the injured Paul Rifle at gully. There's a man at point on the fence. There's a man at third man, and he had spliced the 2.
Yes, it just rocks back. A bit up actually there, actually past Paul Rifle, wide of him. It split the difference of the 2 men in the outfield. Yet another boundary. Didn't quite get over that one, but it didn't matter. He picked the gap.
That is a dismissal. Ganguly trying to turn the ball away to mid-wicket. The ball turning just a little bit, taking the leading edge, and a simple catch to silly point. That's a big disappointment, not just for Sourav Ganguly, but for the entire Eden Gardens. They had come here to see their prince score a century, but it was not to be.
It's just trying to turn that one on the onside, and it gripped a little bit for Gavin Robertson. Got quite a thick edge, and a simple catch there for the substitute, Darren Lehmann. It's 5:58 for 5. Nayan Mongia, wicket-keeper for India, quite a reasonable batsman.
That's a gift. You've seen that in benefit matches. A full toss being given to the beneficiary to get off the mark. Nayan Mongia. This is not a benefit match, but it really was a gift. India 563 for 5.
The only difference being in a benefit match, you're not supposed to hit them for 4. The bowlers get a bit cranky if you hit them for 4. You're supposed to only push them for 1, but I think any half-decent batsman would have found it very difficult to only hit that one for 1.
We are at the stage where Azhar has to now conserve his energies to be able to get his tactics right.
Here, look what I've found. As Nayan Mongia picks the ball out of his pad and hands it to substitute fielder, Darren Lehmann. Certainly Azhar just wandering wherever he can, wandering between wickets.
Well, the Australian fielding really has not been up to the mark. Yes, it's been long hours in the field, but normally the Australian fielding has been top class. In this match, it's been disappointing, to say the least. Maybe the fact that Greg Blewett's been bowling at the other end has taken toll of his energy, not quite able to get down in time. And that's where the aspect of conservation of energy comes in very handy.
I don't think that Mohammad Azharuddin will declare in the tea break, because that would give the Australian batsman a bit of extra time to have a shower and get changed. I think he'll only give them the 10-minute break. Shane Warne now back on at the clubhouse end.
Did I say he would be quite content playing it out till the team total? Well, I was wrong.
That's a very good shot from Nayan Mongia. Quickly down the track, and
All those landmarks within sight at the moment as Mohammad Azharuddin and Nayan Mongia go out to resume battle. In the commentary box with Jeff Thompson is David Hooks.
Mohammad Azharuddin, what a day for him it has been. Another memorable day in Calcutta for the skipper.
There's Slater, the other Australian opening bat. He'll be out there pondering what's going to be his reward should he go in this afternoon. You'd imagine you'd hope it'd last a bit longer than the first innings from the Australian point of view.
And he's played the cross-court forehand. And the Indian Tennis Open starting next week or week after next in Chennai. I think that forehand would get him a game.
Yes, that was just forehand down the line. Fielder there, Gavin Robinson. Very inglorious dive in the end. We might be able to see it from this end. Does a headstand virtually. He just was never going to get there. Rolls over, somersault. The ball continues on its merry way over the rope.
And consecutive boundaries again to Azharuddin. He does have a touch of stand and deliver about him when he's going and when he's in full flight.
Well, why wouldn't you, David? This delivery's from Michael Kasprowicz. Admittedly, it's a little late in the day. He's fairly tired, but he's just hitting through the line. Actually, he's dragged that one from way outside off, over mid-on. No chance for the fielder there. Hit it pretty well. 4 men on the boundary. Azharuddin.
And one of those has got some work to do. And Ricky Ponting does it comfortably. The 2 runs to Azharuddin, goes to 137. Nayan Mongia on 12. And finally gets quite square, and Mongia is getting away for a boundary. Lovely little leg cut, because he knew the man was quite square, so he just let the ball do the work. And a little flick of the wrists.
Yeah, Michael Kasprowicz erring again here down the leg side. We've seen this so many times in the Indian innings. And here it is again. A simple boundary, the result for Mongia. Just tickles it around the corner, very fine. Fieldsman no chance cutting that one off. You see the man there wide, long chase, very fast ground.
And plenty of smiling faces. Around about 70 faces that aren't smiling. And that's a lovely shot. Going across the practice pitches, make that 79 boundaries. 79 boundaries and 5 sixes.
Well, Azharuddin picking a gap beautifully on this, just using the pace off the ball. Beats the close-in man behind square. 599, just the single needed for the 600.
And Azharuddin stands, delivers, and another 6. 6 sixes and 81 boundaries. And they just keep piling and piling and piling.
Well, there was only a single needed to bring up the 600. But Azharuddin decides, well, 600 would go pretty well to the 6. Mark Taylor using every inch of the ground to try and get it. He won't give in no matter what, but just too good for him.
Would have been right if Mark Waugh was 7'12". 150 for the Indian captain.
Well, David, whenever he gets in the 90s or gets close to like the century and a half, He doesn't muck around getting him in signals. He plays and get him quick. And the crowd very appreciative. A great innings here from Azharuddin, leading from the front.
And another boundary. 15 runs from the over. 610 for 5. So Shane Warne has been brought back into the Australian attack from the clubhouse end. And Mungia's favourite shot. Little leg glance. Michael Slater, the fieldsman. 2 runs. Partnership worth 55 between these two.
Yes, he really watches that ball onto the bat. Back it goes. Just tickles it fine.
Just 1 run so far from Gavin Robertson's over. Make that 5. 620 for 5, India.
398. Is 400 going to be the number at which Mohammad Azharuddin will decide is that enough? If he can do this in this over, he'll leave himself 18 overs to go at the Australians today.
If the Indians hurry, then they might even be able to bowl more than those 15 overs.
The lead is 400, and I think they have decided that the declaration is here. With 633 for 5 declared, I'll leave you with Sunny Gavaskar.
What an innings this man has played. The Indian captain acknowledging the applause from the crowd. This is a ground he will always remember. 5 centuries and 2 innings of over 50.
3 of them bringing up a marvellous century with a 6. That's his 5th century in just 7 innings at Eden Gardens. He really is a specialist. The crowd loved it. They also loved the local hero, Ganguly, making 65. Gavin Robertson bowled quite well there at the end to pick up a couple of wickets, but the bowlers, as you would expect, taking a pounding. Robertson 2 for 163. Shane Warne none for 147. Doesn't tell the true story. He bowled quite well at times, as did Michael Kaspovich this morning. He put in well, was perhaps unlucky not to get an LBW decision. Well, the Australians with a big job ahead of them to save this match. We pick up play with no run on the board, and it's Javagal Srinath bowling to Mark Taylor.
And that's a beautiful delivery. Pitched on the stumps, committed the Australian captain, and fortunately for he, the ball went past the outside edge. A maiden over to begin with for India. Australia none for none.
Good over that from Javagal Srinath. Just about getting his rhythm. Seemed to have got it the last ball of the over. Once again, a mistake there by the Australian captain, pushing at it.
So sort of Ganguly, who made 65 in India's first innings, will share the new ball duties again with Javagal Srinath, the local boy. A no ball and a Michael Slater off the mark, as is Australia. And a huge sigh of relief for the young man from New South Wales.
Oh, he's played on again. He got out that way in an identical situation in Chennai. Michael Slater's cup of woe, I'm afraid, is brimming and overflowing just now.
Well, Harsha, I'm afraid that's exactly what I was talking about. Slater in 2 minds, not quite sure whether to hit it or not. The ball was there to be cut. We'll have a look at this. Short, wide, and he just shuffles across, half hitting it, just chops it down on the leg stump. He's on his way for 5. The score now 1 for 7.
Hey, Greg Wood will be hearing the crowd buzzing in his ears just now. He's come out in another difficult situation.
Yeah, just shuffling across the crease, well back. Just the bottom edge, back down to the stumps, and that's what happens when your luck's not in. But it was only a half-hearted stroke from Slater, and that's what caused the problems. Caught in a bit 2 minds whether to hit it or just steer it down there, and he's just chopped it down onto his stumps. Elation for the bowler, but not too much elation for the Australians.
Oh, that's a close one. That looked very close. Greg Blewett just seems to be all in a tangle just now.
Well, again, struck on the pad. Well, I tell you what, I don't think you'd like to look at that one again. Well, I don't think there's a lot of doubt in where that one's going to go. It's definitely not going to go over, and it's definitely not going to go around. Srinath, 4 overs. 4 pretty good overs indeed, 2 of them maidens.
Now, that's a shot he was hoping to play in the first innings. He will probably get 4 here as well. Ah, that's gallant effort. That's a gallant effort from Venkatpati Raju. And they have actually run 4, and Mark Taylor's looking around and checking if they can run 5. Now, what is Venkatpati Raju thinking about? He's just made the longest journey of his career from cover to mid-on. Short legs almost got there as well. And you don't need to see the replay at all, do you? The referee doesn't. They've run 4 anyway. Now that throw has actually hit the stumps.
Yeah. Should be 1 in there. If they hurry, they can go for 2. Yes, they take it easily. The score, a direct hit, and umpire Parthasarathy has asked for the 3rd umpire to come in.
But Mark Taylor is well and truly home. Bat is in behind the keeper there, but it's on the ground, and he's almost past the return crease. Rajesh Chauhan at the High Court end. He seems to get preference over Raju. I'm not sure why.
Just a little short, giving Blewett ample time to rock back onto his back foot and hit it through the covers. He's gone for the sweep. It's beat the fielder at square leg, Anil Kumble.
Well, that ends another day that India have dominated. And they build up a lead of 400 before they declared. And you see there, Mark Taylor just congratulating Mohammad Azharuddin. We pick up play now. It's in the 2nd over. No runs have been added. And it's Javagal Srinath bowling to Mark Taylor. That's a good start for Mark Taylor. A boundary. Things to look for with Mark Taylor. If he's playing well, he plays very well off his pads. So that's a good start for the Australian captain. Whenever he's clipping the ball off his pads, generally means that his feet are moving quite well. So he'll be encouraged by that start. Shouts of catch it, but it doesn't go anywhere near a fielder.
Deep breath from Greg Blewett there, suggesting that perhaps it was a little edge. Very quick look up by Blewett. You see that look up, that bit of a telltale sign, but given there are 2 men around the bat on the offside, a silly point, and the Indian captain at slip, it still landed well away from either of those fieldsmen or the man at backward point.
Taylor finds the gap in that cover field. And Venkatpati Raju has just managed to get there and cut it off.
Two things with that shot. The pace of the outfield was lightning, matched only by Raju's chase. It looked from there that Raju would get it about 2/3 of the way to the fence, and he has just skedaddled after it. And there wouldn't be too many players, I suggest, that would have got to that delivery.
Just slowed his run up a little there, Kumble. The result won't please him. It's 49 for 1.
Greg Blewett is regarded as a very good straight driver, and he's just learnt the last couple of years to get more weight transference over his front knee. Occasionally he plays with a straight front leg, but we'll have a look at that shot again, and you'll see also, even now, not all his weight going forward. It looks fantastic when it goes to the boundary, but it has caused him some problems over the years.
First run this morning for Greg Blewett, and we'll get 2 of them. The dressing room would just be starting to settle down a little for the Australians.
Yes, I think it's the first 20 minutes that you try and get through, and then you perhaps might look to that drinks break. End of the day, though, all you can do is face the next delivery and try and score off it.
That's very well bowled. That's where Greg Blewett has had his problems, the ball coming back into him.
These type of deliveries must give Greg Blewett nightmares. 299s in Test cricket, exactly like that. You see his bat coming down behind the front flap, which means he's a fraction late for a start. In fact, 3.5 has appealed for the LBW, but clearly too high. And Greg Blewett was out in the first innings, first ball, trying to hit Srinath across the line. That's why Azharuddin is happy to leave the enormous gap, or acreage, as Ian Chappell described, on the leg side. There are plenty of runs and time to play with, has this man.
Well, that's got to be very close. He was a long way across. So the umpire was wandering all over the place, which won't please the batsman too much, but I think in the end he may have given the correct decision.
Yes, the Australian players have been concerned about the umpires wandering around before making decisions, but Greg Blewett doesn't always get that far across. But he was hit in mid-air, perhaps hitting middle and leg, and see the umpire going for a stroll to catch the bus. But he may well have made the correct decision. So the breakthrough before the first hour of play, in fact before the first half hour of play, is what India required. Blewett out for 25 and Australia 55 for 2.
Mark Waugh, the number 4 for Australia, at the crease following the dismissal of Greg Blewett. I think the umpire got the right decision, but just look where he goes. When the ball hits the pad, it's probably just going to go on and hit leg stump. But you see the umpire, before he gives the decision, he's wandering off to the leg side. That doesn't fill batsmen with a lot of confidence. Well, that's a good delivery. Now, Mark Waugh can run if he wants to. Taylor's telling him to run. Not sure why Mark Waugh was... well, that's a ridiculous decision. The umpires now send him back. If you're evading a short pitch delivery, it is deemed to be a shot, and that's exactly what Mark Waugh was doing. That should be a leg by.
The umpires obviously said that Mark Waugh allowed the ball to hit him. And I think he was evading the ball, but the umpires thought he got in position, just turned his back and let the ball hit him, and therefore he said it was a dead ball.
Anil Kumble has kept the pressure on at the other end. Has he got him? He's going and he's gone. It's been an unhappy morning for Australia, and it's just got worse. Straight into short leg. That is the end of Mark Waugh.
Anil Kumble is noted for his ability to get the ball to bounce awkwardly. Look at that, it's the wrong one. It's gone off, jumped a little bit more than Mark Waugh expected. He wasn't able to cover it. Simple catch to VVS Lakshman. That is a big blow. Mark Waugh out for a duck. Australia 56 for 3.
Ricky Ponting comes in, 1 number above his earlier position because of Steve Waugh's injury. He's come in because of this terrible blow for Australia.
Ball jumping up a little bit more than Mark Waugh anticipated. Not able to cover it. Simple catch to VVS Lakshman. Out of all the batsmen, Mark Waugh is the one who has played Anil Kumble the best. But even he was not able to keep that ball down.
Yes, that's not a very happy scorecard at the moment. Mark Taylor still around, but Greg Blewett, that was a killer blow, and then Mark Waugh, before he could get set, that was the best time India could have got him, and they did. What does Taylor do here? I think Srinath was desperate to keep that down to a single. Maybe wanted to bowl to the new batsman. Oh, it's a huge shout. Not out, says umpire Parthasarathy from where he was when he finished off.
Well, this has come back, but the umpire saying no.
Yes, I was also very interested in seeing just where umpire Parthasarathy was when he said no.
Well, that's exactly what Srinath should be trying to do with the extra fielder. Might have got away for runs, but remember, they've got to cover for 400 runs, the lead of 400, so the odd push away is not going to be a problem. It's just for one snick, that'll go to that slip corner.
Now, very clinching field now. You see the fire in Kumble's eyes. It's beautifully played off his toes, just drifting down leg side, and that's what Australia need to do. The moment they see a little opening, cash in and pick the runs. They see Mark Taylor again walking back. That's not a bad idea, is it? You know there's not going to be a third, so you might as well do what he's doing.
Absolutely, in conditions where running a little hard is going to get you out of breath. It makes a lot of sense once you find out that there is no possibility of a misfield and the extra run, not to go charging up and down the pitch.
I think they'll be happy with 2 again. 6 from the over, 67 for 3. 17 is a lot of centuries.
Yes, it is. You'd have to be a good player to have that average and to have that many centuries in Test cricket.
Yes, he's played that shot very well all morning. Now, will he go for 3 on this one? He does. He does quite easily. Rahul Dravid out in the deep today. He had a little problem fielding close in.
The 3 was always on the cards because Rahul Dravid's a little bit straighter. I think Srinath wants him to be a little bit wider. That's what he was suggesting earlier on when he was upset about the fact that Taylor was given 2 runs and allowed to keep the strike. This is a good shot around the off stump, but he's played it well, let the ball come on to him.
He's a very busy young man. Ricky Ponting is outstanding in the field on most days. Well, yes, that is what Sunil Gavaskar was saying. If you want to bowl the Yorker, you need runs behind you to accommodate that occasional full toss.
Yes, I think you've just got to overpitch it a little bit and it becomes an easy full toss, as this one was. And on the leg stump means it's invariably going to go for runs. Ricky Ponting quickly latching onto it and putting it away.
Mark Taylor been there since the start last night when Australia had around about 15 overs to face. Kumble continuing around the wicket. Lovely shot from Mark Taylor. full and on leg stump, hitting it with the slope of the ball, if you like, coming around the wicket. And Mark Taylor hits it beautifully. So Australian doing it right here in the sense of hitting the boundaries, rotating the strike, and as Jeff said this morning, ignoring that big scoreboard. And working off the bat. Ponting stands there. The appeal is there. And the umpire rules in favour of the Australian batsman. Ricky Ponting was unmoved. Still unmoved.
Yes, he didn't look too perturbed in this, Ricky Ponting. Big shout from the Indians. He's tried to sweep that one. Bit hard to tell from there. Not sure. It might have hit high on his arm. Might have missed the glove.
And it's in the air. And will it carry? Yes, it will. Great catch by Srinath at backward square leg. So Ponting may well have had a let off early in the over. But the extra bounce of Kumble, it got the top edge on the sweep of Ricky Ponting, and Australia continued down the Dire Straits road.
Well, that earlier appeal doesn't matter. This is 2 balls later. Ponting goes for the sweep again. And this time, the extra bounce hits high on the blade. Srinath didn't pick it up out there at first, but then covered good ground. And in the end, a very, very good catch indeed. And disaster for Australia. Ponting on his way. The score now 4 for 181.
Ian Healy comes on strike because that was the last ball of the over. And he comes there for this reason.
Yes, Ricky Ponting, the last ball of the previous over, tries to sweep again. He had an earlier chance for a big appeal earlier. But he's got a top edge out there in the deep. Javagol Srinath didn't pick it up at first, but in the end made very good ground. A top catch.
He didn't misjudge it, he just didn't pick it up with the crowd in the background. And a very good catch. The fast bowler's been bowling for about an hour and a quarter this morning. And Jeff, when you're down to finally after an hour and a quarter's bowling in the heat, there's other things to be thinking about apart from catching. Get your breath back. Arms went up in the air by the fieldsman then, but no man at leg gully. So a boundary to the Australian captain, takes him into the 40s. He's 42.
Yes, just stepping inside this one, just flicking it down. He knew if he got it fine, the boundary would probably come. You can see how quick this outfield is.
The fielder at first slip is Javagol Srinath. I'm not too sure that he's used to standing in the slips in this atmosphere of a test match. Sachin Tendulkar is a regular slip fielder. He's in the covers. Ganguly saving the ball from going to the boundary.
And is that out? That's brilliant work by VVS Laxman at forward short leg.
I tell you what, it's a very good take by Nayan Mongia as well. Terrific piece of fielding there. Sharp reflexes now. Nayan Mongia, has he? Yes, I think he might have got it onto the stumps. It's, yeah, the stumps are broken there, and he's short of his crease. That is a brilliant double act by VVS Laxman and Nayan Mongia. Mongia, terrific take because the ball didn't come to him on the full. Mark Taylor won't be too thrilled about it, but it is a brilliant piece of work. Well, Mark Taylor had hit this one quite firmly. He'd come out of his crease to play it. Terrific save. And then Nayan Mongia with a very good pickup on the bounce. And he's got the bails off. Unlucky for Mark Taylor. Australia 91 for 5.
Australia's man of the first innings, the man who rescued them, Steve Waugh, with the top score, is at the crease now, and he's here because of some brilliant work by both Lakshman and wicketkeeper Nan Mongia.
Yeah, that's a terrific save, because he had to go a long way to get it, then made a pretty accurate throw from off balance.
The wrong one bounced a little bit more than Mark Waugh anticipated. Simple catch there to VVS Lakshman at forward short leg. And look at the applause for Sidhu. Sidhu very, very popular at most grounds in India, and particularly after his rejuvenation as a fielder. Just a little bit annoyed that the Indian fielders are losing their concentration a little bit. Up in the air, Rajesh Chauhan hasn't had too much luck going for him.
Healy, as I said before, he likes to loft the ball through the onside. On that occasion, he only just cleared the fielder. Srinath's already taken one brilliant catch in the outfield, but he just wasn't tall enough on that occasion.
Chauhan does spin the ball quite prodigiously at times, and he doesn't really need the 5 men on the offside. He's got a slip and a silly mid off and 3 men saving the single. He would be far better off having that one of those men at leg slip or leg gully and trying to get Ian Healy to hit against the turn through the offside. Man, a backward square leg. Rahul Dravid, the man having a spell from close in on the off or leg side with the helmet on, just wandering around having a chat. Very classy player. Straight off the front of the pad. Steve Waugh on strike. Hampered by that groin injury. It will probably keep him out of next week's test match in Bangalore. And he gets a single. And that's Ian Healy at his best. Nice straight bat swing. Has a bit of guts to do that, but Ian Healy picked the right ball. He waited to Chauhan, tossed it up into the half volley area and just swung through with the bat.
Yeah, straight down the pitch. There's a man out there. You saw in the picture, Healy's hit that one 2/3 of the way to the boundary on the full. He's hit it so well. It's a good shot. See that from the stump cam.
Oh, just in front of 3.5, and it's gone through, and it may go down to the fence. Yes, it is. It was Navjot Sidhu chasing it, not Michael Johnson. And consecutive boundaries to Ian Healy.
Yeah, the first one a good shot. This one a little bit of fortune.
And again, same shot, same result. So 3 boundaries to Ian Healy of consecutive deliveries. And it is a slow pitch, so you can't afford to toss it up too slowly.
No, again, well outside off stump. Healy loves that shot. Hits it so well, just hitting with the spin. This time it's a little bit wider of Tendulkar.
And he goes again. 17 runs from the Chauhan over. So Australia have moved along to 117 for 5. Raju into his 10th over, just 7 runs from his first 9 overs. Well, Steve Waugh can hit boundaries as well as Ian Healy. He just stood there, and this will show you how much the injury is hampering Steve Waugh. He just stood up straight and just swung his bat at the ball.
Yes, that's right. Steve Waugh's just waiting for the delivery to hit. Just rocks back. The back foot punches it backward of point.
He's gone against the spin and done it very well. That won't worry Azharuddin as much as it did against Chauhan. Pretty courageous shot from Ian Healy.
And he's decided he is going to play the sweep, although I think he was trying to hit that one pretty square.
Well, this is a little bit more overpitched, and Steve Waugh trying to sweep it round.
You can't stand a chance with a goddess with that many hands, can you? No wonder the Australians are struggling. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There, Taylor's the sacrificial lamb there. The goddess Kali. A lot of devotees here in the city of Calcutta. It's a long time since an Australian batsman has played a shot like that. It's the closest India have come to even sniffing at a breakthrough in the recent past.
Yes, new ball just 12 overs away, so having a bit of a dash with Yavagal Srinath.
Might just have been drifting down the leg side, but it definitely beat Healy in the shot, which again must be a matter of some encouragement to the fast bowler.
Holding the ball very tight in his fingers, indicating another in-swinger.
He's given in. That ball kept a bit low. And I'll tell you one thing about that decision. It was given very, very, very quickly by umpire Parthasarathy. It sent this crowd in oceans of delight. And I think Ian Healy is going to have a very, very long walk back.
Well, we saw the in-swing in his hand before he took off. And Ian Healy could count himself unlucky. A long way forward, the ball hitting the outside of his front pad. And the finger going up very quickly. So to find Ian Healy leaves. Played very well, did Ian Healy, as usual. LBW to Srinath for his third wicket. And Australia.
Well, Shane Warne is the new batsman at the fall of Healy's dismissal. It's going to be an interesting replay to watch because that ball is moving a great deal. I'll let David Hooks talk over it for you.
Well, we said at the top of his run-up he was going to bowl the in-swinger, and that has moved an enormous distance. Height's not a problem, but it's where it's going. See the ball start to swing in, move further off the seam. Hit him in front of middle stump, but going down the leg side. But the umpire walks with the players to give him out.
Not out. The batsman will in fact jog across for a leg bye.
Pretty ambitious shot for Shane Warne. There's a man at backward square leg and a man just in front of square leg.
They were just getting the look of being frustrated, but that wicket has certainly perked them up considerably, Jeff.
Well, it definitely made big inroads. They're into the tail now, Sonny. This time Steve Waugh gets it through, extra cover, picked the gap nicely, timed this one. He's tried to do that for several overs now. He's been fairly restricted, as you've heard from all our previous commentators. A groin injury, not able to move his feet the whole way he'd like to, just stand and deliver. And he struck that one beautifully. Srinath about to run in again.
Nicely played away off his pads, a little uppishly, but there's no fielder there, and it's rocketed away to the boundary. 144 for 6.
Well, Australia up the last over. Steve Waugh flicking this one in the air. The batsman there, the bat pad there, Laxman had the duck. Steve Waugh hitting that one sweetly off the middle of the bat. Well, a big shout from Srinath. The men behind the wicket weren't too as enthusiastic as him. You'll see here it's a really big shout. Just beats Shane Warne. Actually hits him on the pad. It's appeal for LBW. I thought he played a miss to start with, but this one's cut back. Just hit him outside.
Oh, ball on it.
Javagal Srinath likes to give it everything, and this was the last ball he bowled. And look at that, very painful. He'd been holding his side for some time now, the left side. Injury that he might have had in the previous over. Glanced away for 4 runs by Shane Warne.
Yeah, bowler just straying on the pads. Shane Warne obliges, just tickles this one fine around the corner. Again, the backward square fairly wide, and that brings up the 150 for Australia. The 75th over.
That's nicely played.
Just the 2 for that one. Not often you see him pull up on this ground short of the boundary, but that one actually slowing down. Shane Warne just going forward, then rocking back, just dabbing it down nicely.
Anil Kumble. The quicker one, big appeal there.
Well, another big shout here. Went straight back over the wicket the minute Shane Warne was on strike. Just striking him outside off stump. Good delivery.
Trailing by 246 runs, the Australians. Steve Waugh fighting it out as he always does for Australia, in spite of the fact that he's handicapped in his movement by that injury to his leg. Enough turn, enough width for him to place the ball between the fielders there.
Yes, not a good delivery there from Raju. Very slow, very wide. Nice Steve Waugh just reaching across, big gap out there. In the offside field, you see that big gap, not a fielder in anywhere in view.
And the thing that'll give the Australians hope is the fact that only 1 wicket fell between lunch and tea. And there is a wicket, I think, off the first ball. Did look to me as if it was a bad pad, but umpire Kure very confident it wasn't.
Shane Warne was out to fellow leg spinner in the first innings, Anil Kumble. That appeared to be the wrong one.
This time there is no mistaking it. Driven straight back to Anil Kumble. Simple catch to him. Shane Warne disappointed. The Indians delighted.
That's a good catch by Kumble. He's a pretty useful fielder at any stage, but also off his own bowling. Just flighted a little more, and as he did in the first innings, he got one to turn a little bit on.
Kevin Robertson, the new batsman, in, playing in his second test match.
Nicely flighted and just dipping a little bit. That delivery from Anil Kumble. Just enough turn for the ball to hold up. And Warne was a little early in hitting through, and a good catch taken by Kumble. Lovely piece of bowling. He's got Warne in both innings. That'll delight Kumble and annoy Shane Warne. ...14 wickets at 17 for Anil Kumble. Australians don't seem to have found an answer to Anil Kumble. He destroyed them in the one-off test in Delhi. I think he took 8 wickets, 8 or 9 wickets in that test. 9 it might have been.
He's really making the Australians look as if they're beginners. 188 wickets in 45 test matches. And that is a tremendous catch by the Indian captain. He's got a pair of hands as safe as the State Bank of India. That's his 99th catch, I think, in Test cricket. And what a catch. Terrific catch.
Well, he's come forward a long way and got it just before it hit the ground. That could be a William Grant's classic catch. Azharuddin, number 99. Kumble getting another one to turn and bounce a little. It's 158 for 8.
Michael Kastovich into bat. 2 wickets have fallen in the first over after tea. This is the second one.
Well, again, that nice overspin, getting the ball to dip on the batsman, the bounce, and just enough turn to catch the edge. Well taken, Azharuddin.
What a sensational first over after tea. 2 wickets in that. Australia 158 for 8. The fielder at mid-off being brought in now to try and stop Steve Waugh from going for a single. Rajesh Chauhan excited, thought that Steve Waugh had got a bit of bad onto this one.
Next one. All Rajesh.
And in the over and a bit that he's bowled since the tea break, he's looked very good. Nice loop and just a little bit of turn. 15 wickets in this series.
Dropping a little short, trying to get that quicker one. The injury to Steve Waugh will restrict the Australians from taking only 2 runs. The crowd very excited here. They know that now an Indian victory is just a matter of minutes away. One more ball padded away.
Tell you what, most of those deliveries are going very close to the helmet.
Full toss. Asking to be hit.
Sore leg or not, Steve Waugh knows what to do with a loose delivery. He really is one of the best in the business at putting away anything that's slightly loose.
He's whacked it over mid-off for a boundary. Trailed by 220, the Australians. Indians need to take 2 more wickets to win this match and the series. He's given him out. Big shout. Umpire B.C. Correa took his own time. And this is the 10th time that Anil Kumble has taken 5 wickets in a test innings.
Well, there was a long wait there. Steve Waugh, in fact, had moved a good pace or so away from the wicket and wasn't even looking when he was given out. Kumble getting that one to skid straight on. Certainly hit him in line. You see there, Steve Waugh moves away. He's not even looking, and up goes the finger. So 5 wickets to Kumble. Australia 181 for 9.
Paul Wilson, the number 11 batsman for Australia, playing in his first test match. Chauhan looking for his first wicket in the match. He hasn't as yet got a wicket.
He definitely struggled on line and length.
Yes, he's been under some pressure. Query about his action. This is a big one by Kasparowicz. It's taken by the substitute. No, it isn't. It's taken by Venkatpati Raju. And India have won the test match, and with it, the series.
On the ground, the man of the match was named by the international referee Peter von der Merwe as Javagal Srinath for his 3 wickets in each innings. But a great victory to India. They've won the Gavaskar Border Trophy. They're 2 up in the series, only 1 to go. That 3rd test match will be played in Bangalore. That starts on the 25th, so look out for the highlights of the 3rd test match. And if you want to find out what's going on with the Australian side, a few changes.